I turned a JPEG into a kilo, and I summoned all the best powers of my mind, and I created a DeLorean 3000 for my soul. And I put my soul inside that goddamn machine, and it journeyed back to the year 1984, to Zimbabwe, Bulawayo, in the countryside. And I packed it there, and I made sure I put some bushes and plants and all that shit over it, so no one could steal it. And then my soul found its way to where my mother lived. She was 3 months pregnant with me, and it sort of snuck its way inside of her fetus, and it listened to everything she had to say, and it made her experience as a first-time mom pleasant. And even more than that, it tried to understand my father that little bit better. Hello, folks. I'm delighted to be here. Having the microphone in front of you is such a technical thing, and I hope I do my best with this. My name is Ncube. My first name is Mhla. My middle name is Malele, and Ncube is the name I go by for my works as a writer and as a director. I make films, I make plays, I do short stories. I'm into anything that gives an idea room to breathe and grow. And I realized that I've been using the spoken word stage to do a lot of fictional stuff in a way, and to do things that reinforce or enforce some type of enigma as far as my persona goes, not on purpose. I wasn't trying to withhold information, but it just happened in that way. So in my time away from Berlin and away from doing these kinds of things, I decided that I was going to use whatever opportunity that came my way to be a bit more personal, so that I can demystify myself and have to explain certain tendencies and things about how I view the world that little bit less than I find myself doing. So this is my first time in a while, and the rebirth, doing new material, new personal material, and I hope I don't unsettle you in the way I've unsettled myself. Amnesia. We all have it. We all participate in the grand sport of selecting things that further our own narrative. We are all in the business of carefully curating information we wish to retain concerning people we may or may not know firsthand. This means, of course, erasing vast chunks of their past, if it serves our purposes. When people disappoint us, we activate the amnesia button. To some, we arguably erase the good they've labored all their lives to be associated with. People may even say that we strip them of their right to be complex, to be human beings, not their color or their creed or their religion or their culture, just human beings. Amnesia. We're all guilty of it. Think of the goodwill your dearest friends fostered over the years, and then think of their swift fall from grace, their plunge from the moral tower we trapped them in, following that daring escape to freedom. Freedom, splat, death. Oh, those fuckers, they had it coming. We had to put their stuff to the left. Their demise was a consequence of them being repeat offenders after all. The truth is that we simply lost patience. Some of us reached a point of exasperation. Enough's enough, we murmured. I can't be dealing with your casual fuckeries in this day and age, we muttered under our breaths. Some of our friends are tough nuts. They are salty, and not that many people can stomach them. But we can, and we forget their coarseness. We've let them get away with absolute murder, one without a victim. At the time, until someone pulls us aside and points out their deficiencies. Then sadly, they're all we can see thereafter. Growing up, I had friends who used to casually drop the N-word. The context was, All right, but the aftertaste got bitterer and bitterer over the years. The future has a way of showing you how you actually felt in the past, about the past, and you just didn't have the emotional vocabulary. Amnesia. When someone has the kind of Freudian slip that puts you in the place you never suspected they might surely not, but no, they actually might, at the back of their minds, think that's where you belong, you of all people, you, and you turn a blind eye. Casual fuckeries rely on amnesia to keep people together. Turning a blind eye keeps us in bed with our stealthy detractors. Well, I stand before you as someone who puts up with all kinds of people because I'm a humanist. Because people are, by large, human condition permitting, interesting. I try to remember that I also put my foot in it all the time. I don't go around talking shit about people, but I do offend. I offend. And I disappoint. And then some. And it's a full-time job not to fuck up, but I have these slip-ups that threaten my standing in this world. As someone who cannot be trusted to be on social media, I say, your views may be acceptable. They may have nuances, but tomorrow you're going to be praying that none of what you said today is remembered. You, no matter who you are or how well-intentioned you appear or that you come with a pinch of salt, are going to be praying for amnesia. We used to forget the deplorable nonsense friends spouted at 3 a.m., put it down to some brief spell of madness. Now, we feel empowered to ghost them. The hangover they wake up with is going to be the least of their problems by the time that brief fog of amnesia has vacated the premises. You want to know why some people don't give a shit what you call them? They don't get offended when you use a derogatory term in the right context. They believe you aren't talking about them. They know you. What about all those others who haven't had the honor of getting to know you, who don't know what a decent person you are? Here's what you do when you offend them. You pray for amnesia. You may say something, write something, share something, and they might be around, lingering in the margins of the conversation. And they have the hearing of bats, and the memory of elephants. And they are constantly creating a network of bigots in their head. Oh yes, the bigot over there is connected to that bigot over there who's connected to that bigoted person's bigot son's girlfriend. Something we all do, whether we know it or not. Running a thread through the hardest skulls, a chain gang of undesirables, putting them all in the same basket. Amnesia. We've all prayed for it. Oh, I hope they forget I used to be affiliated with that Dirty Dozen crew that hounded the old and vulnerable. I didn't know any better. I was at school. No matter who you are, where you're from, how you were brought up, what moral conduct you abide by, at some point, you're going to say something, a passing comment, a sign of your naivete with a certain subject, people's culture, and if you happen to say it around me, within my earshot, I may keep it moving, but unbeknownst to you, you have created a record with a scratch in my head, an instant hit in the discount pile of shit. 9, not 99 cents. This record with the Nero is going to keep going over that particular moment whenever I think of you. Replaying your greatest hits moment as far as laws go. Nick. And you know what I pray for every time I'm faced with this fork in the road? Amnesia. Of course. I wish I could forget it just as quickly as I had it. And more than anything, above everything else, if I can admit to being selfish, I wish people could acquire amnesia just as quickly when I fuck up. I should be the only person allowed to fuck up and get away with it, right? No. Oh, right. Okay, one day, my words will be used against me. But until then, I'm judging just about everyone I don't know. It's gonna make karma a foregone conclusion, of course. What goes up must come down. Whoever's up today will undoubtedly be swimming with the fishes tomorrow. It's going to make me feel like I deserve to be chastised for falling short of my own high standards. And when that's not enough, When my willingness to be judged isn't helping me, I'll drop to my knees and I'll pray for amnesia.